Yes.
Hi, my name's Robin. I'm an alcoholic and I'm 26 years old.
Hi, my name's Carmen and I'm an addict.
I'm Sky and I'm an addict.
I'm an alcoholic. I'm Claire. I'm an addict.
And I'm 19 years old.
I'm 69 years old.
And I'm 25 years old.
Hi, I'm Sanalo and I'm an alcoholic.
Well, an inspiring short documentary on addiction recovery has been made available online during Women's Month. The Sound of Drowning has been described as a quiet homage to the journey of 8 women who are living in recovery from active addiction. Some of them were dependent on alcohol, street drugs, or psychiatric medications. Now, the documentary hopes to lift the lid off the stigma women face when attempting to get help for their addiction. We are joined now by the producers of the documentary, Tami Jacobs and Anel Sherren. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, Tami and Anel. I think maybe let me first start with you, Tami, but feel free to jump in wherever you need to, Anel. Maybe just tell us about this documentary and its focus on addiction recovery, especially in women.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Anel and I teamed up together to make this documentary because we noticed that there was a huge gap in the amount of men that were coming into treatment versus the amount of women coming in for help. And basically, when we started out, we just wanted to know why. Why was it that no women were coming in and seeking help from active addiction? And so we embarked to find out why, but also to give women hope so that they might find the courage to come seek help.
Very interesting, that men, more women come in to get help and, than men. It is actually Women's Month, so I guess that is another reason why you made sure that you want to release this online for a lot of women to see this, but also not just women, but everyone who struggles with addiction to see this, and so that they can, find help themselves. Was that the message you wanted to send here? Is that the important message you wanted to send out?
So absolutely, we have our main goal for this documentary was to create awareness that there is help out there, awareness for women who are struggling to know that they don't need to struggle alone. And we really wanted to reach as many women as possible and say that you're not alone. We are here to help. There's so many resources out there, but because of the stigma attached to addiction, so many women suffer in silence. And we are saying today that it's not needed. There's no need to do this alone, basically.
And Tami, I think, maybe highlight to us, the women featured in this documentary, their backgrounds, where are they from? I'm sure when I looked at that trailer, I saw so many different women, and I'm just assuming also from so many different backgrounds. Maybe just, shed some light on that and explain to us the backgrounds of these women featured in this documentary.
Sure. So we interviewed women from all kinds of backgrounds, and I think the main thing we wanted to show is that the disease of addiction affects everybody. It doesn't choose people from specific backgrounds. Our youngest lady that we interviewed was 19 years old, and the oldest lady we interviewed was 69 years old. And these women come from all different walks of life, and they all have different experiences, different childhoods, brought up differently. This disease just doesn't discriminate. And that's what we wanted to show, is that it doesn't matter who you are, how you were brought up. This disease can affect you, and there is help out there if you ask for it.
And Anel, why is it that there is this stigma around addiction? And what can you say, to women out there watching this right now, that they shouldn't have to go through this alone, that they should reach out to people and ask for help?
Well, I think the stigma is attached for a variety of reasons. One of them is women have a certain role in society that men don't necessarily have. Women are often caregivers. Women are often seen as the pillars in their family. Women are often, it doesn't connect that a woman and their roles would connect with addiction as well. We're seen as someone who should be strong, someone who should be there for their family, someone who should take care of the family, and then we're put in a position where we struggle and we don't necessarily know that we can reach out for help. So I think that it's incredibly necessary for women out there to know that it is important to reach out for help, and it is important that regardless of how you feel and the shame that you might be feeling inside, it's not a shameful thing to ask for help. It's the most freeing thing that the women that I work with experience when they do ask for help and they speak out about it. What most women do see is that they actually get massive amounts of support. I think the stigma often is not necessarily as big as we expect it to be, because women in their minds think everybody's going to judge me. But in reality, it's not really that way. Lots of people are out there to help, and their families are out there to help them.
And you mentioned family now. And now, Tami, how important is it, to have your community, backing you, community involvement, and and society in general? How important of a factor is that when it comes to stigma and addiction?
It's an interesting question, because if you have a little bit of understanding about the disease of addiction, you'll know that it affects the whole family. Being an addict doesn't only affect the addict, but it affects all the people around them. And I think that the stigma definitely does contribute to people not coming forward for help. And the first step to getting help is saying, I do have a problem and I need help. And so long as that stigma exists, less people will come forward and ask for help. So I think as families, as communities, and just as citizens in society, it's really important for us to try to break that stigma so that more people can get better. Yeah.
I think I want to take this because I'm interviewing two women producers here that created this documentary. I'm sure you're also busy with other projects as well. And now, as a woman in the film industry, in South Africa specifically, how do you find it navigating a very male-dominated space?
So actually, I'm not in the film industry at all. I'm in the addiction industry, and Tami is in the film industry. And what happened was we got together and we decided to create this beautiful documentary to raise awareness. So I think Tami is better.
Yeah, better to answer that question. Tami, please take it away.
Anel is an addiction specialist here, and I'm the film specialist. But yeah, it is a heavily male-dominated space, but I find that as time goes on, women are taking more important roles in the film industry, and our voices are starting to get heard. And I think it's quite beautiful, because what it means is that the TV that's being produced is sensitive, and it has a lot of meaning, and it's kind of changing the shape of TV that we see.
And South African women in general, when it comes to the industry, what do you see the main difference is when it comes to their male counterparts and the women in the film industry?
I think the difference just is in the roles. If I think about it objectively, my role has mainly been in writing and directing, and it's been hard. It's hard to get to the point of directing as a woman in the industry, because I think traditionally you don't get female cameramen. It's a cameraman, not a camera woman usually.
Yeah.
And traditionally, many of the roles in the film industry have been male-driven, but I would like to say that that is changing for the positive.
Well, thank you so much for your time. And I think lastly, if somebody wants to watch this, where can they watch it and where can they stream it? Anel, if you can answer that for us.
So we actually made it available for the month of August on YouTube. It's on the Cedars channel. So it's called The Sound of Drowning, and you'll be able to find it on YouTube.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. And of course, it is Women's Month. So thank you so much for creating something like this, and something that is definitely not talked about enough. Addiction, especially when it comes to women who are sometimes, very affected by many types of addiction. So Tami and Anel, Tami Jacobs and Anel Sherren, they are the producers of The Sound of Drowning. It can be streamed, like you just heard, for this month, Women's Month, on YouTube. So make sure that you watch this amazing documentary and also try and get some understanding and some idea of how addiction affects women in their daily lives.